you're a dog lover, you know how cute it is to see a pup dressed up. After I made my summer dress for the last sew along, I had just enough scrap fabric left over to make this cute dress for my dog. I used the pattern Simplicity 1578 as my base. I tweaked it just a little bit to get the ruffled dress that I was looking for. This sewing project is great for beginners, and if you're looking for easy projects to make and sell at craft fairs, this one would be really popular. I've left the link to the pattern below so that you can check out all the details, grab a copy for yourself, and sew along with me. Let's get started. You will only need one pattern piece for this project, and it's piece number 21 from the Simplicity pattern. The only change that I'm making to this pattern so that I could add a ruffled skirt element to the pattern is that I'm going to shorten it by 4 inches. So I'm going to fold it up by 4 inches all along the bottom, and this will be my new pattern piece. From your pattern piece, cut one from your main fabric and one from lining. One ruffle strip measuring 7 inches by 35.5 inches. The pattern calls for 2 strips of 1 inch wide webbing, but I'm just going to be using self fabric measuring 12 inches by 2 inches wide, and cut 2 of them. And cut 2 pieces of interfacing the same length and width, and 12 inches of Velcro. Apply your interfacing to the wrong side of both of your straps. Fold your strap in half the long way and pin the long edges. Do this for both of your straps, and now sew the pinned opened edges of both of your straps and one short edge of your straps with a 1/8 inch seam allowance. Clip the corners of the short edges that you sewed and turn your straps right side out. And give them both a good press. Fold up the bottom raw edge of your bodice piece to the wrong side by 3/8 of an inch and press, and do this for your lining piece as well. On your main pattern piece, there are dots that indicate where to place our straps. There are actually 2 sets of dots, but because we've shortened this pattern piece, we're only concerned with the top set of dots. Mark these dots on your pattern piece in your preferred method. Do this on both sides of your material. Now grab your straps and place the raw edge of your straps between the notches that you just marked and pin in place. And do this for both straps. And then baste your straps in place with the 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now place your lining and your main fabric right sides together and pin all along the side, the shoulders, and the neckline all the way around. Now sew all around your bodice as pinned, catching the folded edges of the main fabric and the lining at the bottom, and leaving this bottom section open for now. Stitch all the way around with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. And turn your bodice right side out, and you can use a stick to poke out those corners. And then give everything a really good press. For the bottom of my ruffle piece, I'm going to do a quick rolled hem. I've already pressed up the entire bottom hem by a 1/4 of an inch, and now I'm going to roll that 1/4 of an inch over on itself and pin in place. And do this all the way across. Once you have that rolled hem pinned all the way across, edge stitch all along the inner fold from one side to the other. Hem both short edges of your ruffle in the same way, pressing them up a 1/4 of an inch and a 1/4 of an inch again, and edge stitching them shut. And then we're going to sew gathering stitches all along the top of our ruffle. So starting from one end of your ruffle, choose the longest stitch on your machine, mine is 5 millimeters. I'm going to sew from one end all the way to the other end using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Find and mark the center of your bodice and the center of your ruffle piece. We're going to place the ruffle piece in between the 2 layers of the lining and the main bodice. We're going to insert the ruffle piece so that it goes in between the 2 layers by 3/8 of an inch. The right side of your ruffle piece should be facing the wrong side of your main bodice piece. And pin in place through all layers, matching your centers. Now start pulling your gathering stitches so that the rest of your ruffle matches the rest of that bodice length. Once it matches in length and your gathers are distributed evenly, place it in between the 2 layers as before, and pin in place. And now gather and insert your ruffle on the other side as well. And then we're going to edge stitch close to the bottom edge of our bodice, from one side of the bodice all the way to the other, periodically checking underneath your stitching to make sure that you're catching this lining as well. Now the last step is to attach all our Velcro pieces. Cut the strip into 3 4-inch pieces. Take 2 of those sets and separate them, and leave the fuzzy sides aside for now. On the right strap on the right side of your fabric, place the wrong size of the rough part of your Velcro at the top of that strap and pin in place. Just place the 2 pieces so that they're nicely centered within the edge of that strap. And then take it to your machine and edge stitch around both pieces of Velcro about 1/8 of an inch from all edges. And do this for both pieces. Once those are sewn in place, grab those fuzzy strips and align them on the opposite strap so that the wrong sides of these strips face the right side of your lining. Align them at the top of the strap in the same way we did on the other side and pin in place. And then sew them on. And then separate your last piece of hook and loop tape and take your right strap and place the wrong side of the rough side of your tape centered with the edge of this strap and pin in place. And then sew all around these edges. Once that's secured, take the fuzzy side of the Velcro, place it on the back side of the opposite strap, with the wrong side of the Velcro facing the back side of your strap, and pin in place. Sew all around these corners and you're all done with your dog dress. Thank you so much for watching this sew along. Make sure you check out my other videos for more great sewing projects, and I'll see you in the next video.